Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Ty Garner here, and it's day 26 of Husband After God, and we're talking about avoiding God. Now, you say, well, why would I avoid God? Well, because of sin, right? Sin in our lives that we feel shame from. You know, it goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. When they first sinned, they hid from God because they were ashamed, right? And I think that the shame that we feel over sin sometimes, keeps us even from having an intimate relationship with our spouses, right? I think there's sin in our lives, unconfessed sin in our lives that maybe, a secret sin or something that our wives don't know about or our husbands don't know about, and that builds up shame, and it keeps us from opening it up and being involved with our spouse in a way that we should be. And the same thing, comes with God. I mean, if there's sin in our lives and we're avoiding God, it's going to be hard for us to draw close to Him. And therefore, if we're not drawing close to God, it's going to be hard for us to draw close to our spouses. And so, God wants us to have victory over sin. And the only way that we can have victory over a sin is by going to God with this sin and confessing that sin. And, it tells us that He's going to forgive us and forget about it and move on. And, all too often we have a hard time with that ourselves, and we fear that God can't forgive us, or we fear that our spouse can't forgive us if we go to them with this sin and tell them, what's been going on in our lives. I mean, I think there's a lot of secret sins in our society today, even as small as just pride in a man's heart, but more bigger than maybe like pornography and stuff is a huge epidemic today in men. And if you have this sin in your life, you will not be able to have an intimate relationship with your spouse. It's just impossible. And I see it tearing down and breaking apart marriages all the time. And it's not because they don't want to be married. It's because they're shameful of something that's in their life. And it may be something in your past that happened before you were married, but it keeps you from ever having that relationship with your spouse that you want to. And the same thing with God. I mean, if there's something there that you think God just can't forgive you over, you're wrong. God can forgive anything. But if we don't go to Him with that sin, if we avoid Him, there's no way that we can have that relationship with God that He wants us to have. So I challenge you, look at your life and diagnose your life, diagnose your heart, search your heart, and see if there's something there that you may not even really necessarily realize that's keeping you from having that relationship with God that you want to have, and therefore keeping you from having that relationship with your spouse that you really desire to have. So I hope that challenged you today. Have a great day, have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.